step one, if you're listening to this podcast and you're an artist of any nature, your job is to be an artist. Your job is not to be a brand. It will become. Sanaa yako ndio itafanya hiyo kitu unafanya iwe brand. It is your sanaa that will cause a distinction. Brand is distinct. Brand is distinction. When you distinguish,
that's your brand.
So you can't make a brand. You become a brand as a result of doing.
But
Ben, Cyco, Ben.
Hi guys, yes, this is another episode of the Cyco podcast, and this is season 3, episode 9. I'm so excited. We are about to finish season 3. I know. We're not doing it as fast as we should have, and I'll tell you reasons later. You guys will probably understand later, and I know right now I sound like a parent. Sorry, Amos. This is not for now. You'll understand it later. Yes, you guys will also understand the whole reason a bit later. But I want to thank you so much for choosing to join us on the Cyco podcast episode today. We're going to have an amazing conversation. We're having this conversation with one of the coolest, one of the most influential, one of the most, do I say powerful? Well, people that I know in this business, somebody who's created just beautiful spaces and beautiful things, and somebody I really admire. It's time to pay the bills, and the video today is sponsored by Skillshare. Now, for those of you who don't know what Skillshare is, it's an online learning platform for creatives and curious people, guys who want to learn new skills, or if you already have those skills, you want to take your skills to the next level. Now, when I was preparing for this specific topic that we're discussing today with Muthoni, which is about branding, I decided to take one of the classes on branding. I took up a class by Jeff Staples, Staples of Branding, and I learned so much, and some of those insights I will share on this specific episode. And you can also learn some of these things if you are interested in taking your skill to the next level, or you also want to tell your brand story. All you have to do is click on the link below, and for the first 1,000 guys, you will have a free 1-month trial. This is one of the best gifts that you can gift yourself this year. Now, before we come to that, the last episode that we did with Just Ivy was on fire, man. You guys gave me feedback. You guys were so grateful, and big shout out to Just Ivy. Thank you so much, Ivy, for just coming to the show. I told you, man, guys were so excited. The DMs, and I'm going to be sharing these DMs next week on my page so that you guys can see what guys wase wanatuma M-Pesa kweli? Hapo, that's a stretch. M-Pesa is where they draw the line. But all in all, I'm so excited. Now, we also have a new join option on the YouTube channel where you can join and become a full member. What that does is that it helps us to continue creating content. So if you want to know the procedure, just click on the join button below. If you've not clicked on the subscribe, can you imagine if you've not clicked on the subscribe button and you're watching? Like, surely, and you, alafu unasema blessings zako ziko blocked. Click the subscribe button, and if you want to support this channel also financially so that we continue creating this amazing content, click the join button. Now, a lot of you have also asked for a part 2 with Just Ivy. So what we're going to do a part 2 series with Just Ivy, but that's only going to be for members only. So I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. I'm going to do a Q&A on Instagram, then I'll ask you guys questions, then mtanitumia maswali zenye mnataka to address na Just Ivy. And then we're going to make that an exclusive episode for this month. And the only way you can access it is by becoming a member. What else am I forgetting? Yeah, I think I'm done with the unnecessary intro. Now, the guest that I'm about to introduce, the guest that I'm having a conversation with, is a very cool human being. Like, as a human being, she's just cool, you know. She's very dope, very swaggy. And she's not just that, man. She's one of the artists who in the industry of ours, in our industry, she's managed to create her own niche with her own strong audience, and over a very long period of time. Not just that. You think artistry is where she stops at. No. She is also the founder of amazing festivals in Kenya. That's Blankets and Wine and African Nouveau. How many of you can even spell Nouveau correctly? Please write it up chini. Nouveau. Unajua hapo itakuwa N-U-V-O and all that stuff. So and on top of all that, she also has an incubator program called Perform Music Incubator, which is gonna be sharing more about. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for Muthoni Drummer Queen. Yes, Muthoni. I'm so happy. Yeah, I am so excited.
Then
We've been planning to do this episode for 2 months now. Yeah. More than 2 months.
When did we first talk? Last year?
Actually, it was time may fly, maze. Yeah, we started having a chat about this last year. Yeah. And even before I met you, there was a day I just randomly tweeted, just saying I want to. This is a Muthoni The Drummer Queen appreciation tweet. That was like I think in 2019. And then I saw you on CTA, and then I saw you ukichapa hizo stories, and then now I even got to understand you in person. And I feel like we've hanged out for such a long time, man, you know? Yet tumejuana such a short period. Karibu sana kwa show. How are you doing?
So much. I'm really happy to be here.
How are you feeling today?
Niko fiti.
You look amazing. This is
Thank
so
you.
dope. I like the colors, the vibe.
Thank you. I'm wearing a custom art piece that a Kenyan designer called Munga from Monochrome made for me.
Yeah.
So nika kuvaa basquiat within like 10 years.
Yeah.
Niko na art nitauza.
Nice, maze. I like the way you really like promoting a lot of Kenyan stuff.
Yeah.
That's dope. And what you've done in this industry is that you've shown us that there's a side of the industry where we tend to ignore and we tend to pick up what the West is offering us. Yet we have amazing dope people in Kenya who can do better.
Yeah.
And I'd say better because they understand our culture.
Yeah.
So it suit more than kitu ili designiwa mzungu and all that stuff, man. So I like that, man.
Thank you.
Karibu kwa show. Today we have so much to talk about. What people don't know or what people might not know on this channel is that Muthoni and I, we have a few similarities. One is that we are Kenyans, you know, that's just unique. And then another one is that we grew up in the same neighborhood. Yeah.
So we grew up in the Great Corner.
The Great Corner.
A corner of the Great Corner.
Yeah.
Githembe.
Unasikia tu hiyo jina Githembe. Unajua kuna jina unasikia kama Roslyn ama sijui some cool Kilimani. Unaweza ambia msee akam kwako Kilimani Roslyn, lakini uombe Githembe. Already mazee hapo wananidi kukam na chief au ma AP, I don't know. In fact, the first time I was told you live in Githembe, hizo zilikuwa zile times where I'm still trying to join the industry. The mic? Unisikia vizuri? Yeah, Muthoni, your mic.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Sawa hapo.
It's interesting. I want you to share your perspective. I'll share my perspective. How growing up in the hood in a hood like that,
yes.
How did that change who you are? How did that affect you?
Got you. So there are many things I'm really grateful for. That's where life began. Yeah. So you live in Githembe. Your school is Lavington Primary.
Oh.
Na kuna matatu paka ufike stage 11.
Stage 111.
Stage 11.
Stage 11 ni gani?
Stage 11 uko Kingara Road. After umeshapiga Kingara Road.
Junkie.
Not junction, beyond uko like at Lavington is where you would find now the bus stop. So every morning you're doing a trek, okay? Not a small trek. Okay.
Marathon runner.
I used to walk for 10 kilometers. That was me. Just in
You're going to be telling your kids when they're telling you need to pay school bus. And like, excuse me, do you know how many kilometers I used to walk? You know, and then.
So we would walk. So my dad, myself, and my brother, because my brother was in Strathmore.
Oh.
So now we would walk from Githembe. You're coming out of the hood, and then you walk through Riara.
Yeah.
And so you see this neighborhood that's quite different. Then you walk now where you take the matatu, you're now driving through Lavington.
Yeah.
And just seeing that perspective of life, like kumbe life kuna tu, there's so many different versions of this life experience.
Yeah.
And when we'd pass to Riara, when my dad would see me looking at the houses, you know, manyumba, na ma compound.
Na ni safi. Huko hakuna matope. Mzee,
huko kuna lami because unakumbuka barabara ya Wanyero.
Yeah.
Asanti. See, not this gentrified version of Wanyero.
Right now it's so nice. They are even the other day when they had to check some 2 beds, they were going for like 50K. I was like,
you're like 50K.
50K was land, you know, 50K. You had like a small land by 100, yeah.
So that thing, my dad would sit and he'd always tell us, you can have any version of life. If you work hard, you can have this house. These people are not more special than you.
So he would affirm you guys.
Affirm us a lot. Even when he finally bought like a junk car, which he was so proud of, KWB 907. Impossible to forget that car. Yani babangu alikuwa anapenda hiyo gari. And he made us feel so proud that tuko na gari. So first mko na gari Githembe. Unaona?
Yeah. That's a big deal
already.
In Githembe.
Okay. And then now in life, us guys are like, hey, that means we don't have to do the trek. But then when you'd go to school, so like Lavington Primary had so many different kids from different backgrounds. Yeah. Mtoto wa Chief Justice ako kwa klasi yenu. Sijui minister mgani. Because even your public schools ilikuwa, all kids went to the same schools. Yeah. So those parents are also the ones who are in the BOG, and that's why the schools also worked.
Doing well.
So now, hawa anakuja kupikiwa na mama Sidis ziko na GK. Babangu anakuona tu ukiangalia gari unatamaa, anakuambia usiwahi tamani kitu sio yako, penda hii yenu. Hii yenu ni hii yenu. That's yours. It's yours. Umenunua na pesa yako, hakuna loan. Yeah. This is your car. So my dad really put that in our heads. And I think another thing as I was thinking about this question is in 92 or 94 when the genocide happened in Rwanda? 94. Yeah. A lot of Rwandese moved into our neighborhoods.
So many Rwandese. I remember living with so many Rwandese.
So one time, because you don't know the difference, because you're just a kid, mnapatana tu church, tu mtaani. But I remember my mom talking to me about like the difficulty of being a refugee. Yeah. And she said that some of these people were really people in their countries. Yeah. They were doctors. They had big businesses.
Living well.
They were living well. And when war comes, it destroys all those things. Mm-hmm. So I really had a perception that, life can change. Yeah. Life inaweza tu badilika. One day unaweza kuwa na pesa. Siku ingine when ni refugee.
No, comprehend all these things that you guys were really like, your folks were, I'd say they were woke. Like they were really empowering you guys from that
and I don't
young
know if
age.
I don't think they, okay, maybe they knew. Yeah. Because obviously wanaambiana. Yeah. But those are the things that I really left Githembe. I feel it shaped. It helped me see like there are so many versions of life. Yeah. Na ile unataka ndio utapata based on what you're willing to do. Yeah. Life can change at any time. Yeah. I think I also got a real desire for beauty. Mm-hmm. and nature just because of living in a place that didn't have. And so now I could see the difference of like, if you have trees, that makes it Riara. Yeah. But when you don't have trees,
makes it Wanye
Road. Mm-hmm. So a simple thing like that. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, I always want to exist in places where there's nature, and I'm also going to contribute to populating the earth with nature. Yeah. So those are some of the things
that's how you impact. And that's very, very interesting, which is a bit, it's almost similar to my situation as well. Because my folks were, I'd say they also woke, like they would always push me like, yo, by the way, you can make a good life for yourself. And then now you see now the same thing you've said, you'd pass through, let's say for example, umetoka church at Green Pastures, because I used to go to church at Adams. Unatoka church, at least unapita hizo Mangong Road, unaona kuna wase wishi hivi. So there's that admiration for a better life in future. I remember tulikuwa tunafika classes zingine, we play with the Atlas and they were like, so which country do you want to go to? And at that time, because pia mimi tulikuwa na hiyo uchopi unashinda ukiforce one education. So we'd pinpoint countries that we want to visit in future just for jokes to ile say Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur and all. So because you see another thing also, when you're born in the hood, I'm sorry, and this might sound harsh, but it's somehow you're starting life at a disadvantage to be honest.
And I would see that a lot. So we would also see the difference between us and other kids. So our parents were very invested in our education, and were very invested in like munaendeleaje mentally. Yeah. But life in the hood is hard. Right?
It's crazy.
So many parents are in survival mode. Mm-hmm. So they don't have enough to give to the kids. So you would see kids na mnapatana church. Sasa kwa church kila mtu ako equal. Yeah. Mkipatana church una realize, man, this hood living really changes people. Yeah. I remember from a very young age just understanding that alcoholism is escape. Because like baba yao msee maisha yake ni ngumu. Yeah. So somehow lazima afanye kitu ya kudeal na hiyo maisha ngumu. Yeah. So akifika home amelewa kuescape hizi realities. Yeah. Because anafanyishwa homework na hakuna school fees.
And you'd comprehend that?
I think at a certain level.
Yeah.
At a certain level, I could. And also because now when you hear like your parents saying certain things, we were very close-knit we grew up in the church, in the Catholic church.
Yeah.
So like how the priest, Father Noel, how he would see life.
Yeah.
So I kind of got bits and pieces of like, okay, this hood living, it's difficult.
It's very difficult.
Girls getting pregnant quite young.
Very.
So mnakanywa nyinyi ni kama ni wewe.
Warning, yani, ukipatikana na kijana, hiyo ni war. Yeah.
Okay? But una realize on the other side, it's like, man, mdemako 15 akiona mtoi ni blanda kwake, kwa familia yake.
It's crazy.
The complication.
Yeah.
So kuna vitu tu unaelewa kama mtoi au hata muongeagi na mother, but unaelewa like, okay.
Yeah. And which can be traumatizing as well, because you have to figure this whole life thing by yourself.
Yeah.
You see also when you're raised in such backgrounds, you're not only changing yourself, but you're also changing a lot about your mind. You have to change the way you think, because people in the hood, they just think differently. You know, like kuna they want to do everything as a community. It's very much in the hood, such that if you do something that's a bit elevated than them, now it becomes a discussion in the whole plotty and all that stuff. Alcoholism was also very, very big because of stories at Changa. Remember there was one guy called Man. This guy, he like since I was a child, he was always drunk until like after I finished high school. And I was like, scientists really need to take this blood and check what's up, because this guy is like yeye ndio alikuwa anamaliza alcohol, see alcohol. So the other way around. And also another thing also it how it impacted me is that it also made me see life the same way you're saying, that there are different versions of life. You know, there kuna wase wa shamba, kuna wase walk, kuna wase wako na do, kuna wase wako broke. It just helps you appreciate life, especially ukifika at a certain point in your life. You look back and you're like, what?
Exactly. At that time, you don't even know what you know.
You don't.
It's later when you realize like, oh, that's why I can blend in many environments.
Yeah, which is true. Because babu, like I remember some time back I went to the hood, maze. A lot of the chicks we were with, all of them have like 3 kids, man. And it's not like one. The ones who've made it now outside the hood kabisa ni waseka 10. It was a class of like 200. The guys became drunks, thugs and all that stuff. So it's very interesting also hearing this from another person and you know, I was also able to experience it as well. So that's really dope. So let's talk about also now you starting now to grow your brands. First of all, you're from a unique background. And now you're creating products that are being accepted by people from also a different background. How was that? How did you go about that?
So first, I just feel like I have to say this with all honesty. I never once intended. I didn't wake up and I'm like, oh, I have to make a brand.
Yup.
Brands become. Mimi ile kitu ilikuwa inanisumbua ni sanaa. I'm an artist. Okay? At the point at which I realized I'm an artist and I wanted to do music with my life. I had already had a strong foundation of developing my talent through the school system, which I didn't know I was doing.
You are a singer?
I was a singer. I was playing drums. I'm drummer queen because I played drums.
You actually used to play drums?
Yes, I started playing drums in church. You know, and then from church, when I went to Moi Girls, because I wanted to join drama club, I could play drums, so I was able to enter drama club. That's where I learned how to play the bull, that set of drums from the Luo community that you see in, like, you know, Ohangla music. Those are the drums I play. And I did a lot of public speaking, debate in primary school. I didn't know that I was developing the skill set of sana baadaye. It's just stuff that I enjoyed and I loved. And it was also an easy way for me to, because when you're young, kwa nyumba ya mwalimu unaanza kusema I'm going to be a musician. Because hapo nje ya nyumba yenu kuna hiyo club ya Chibuku na kuna kungatuna mziki all the time.
I remember hapo Gidembe. Kwanza hapo Gidembe hapo kwa Bump kulikuwa na some butchery that was very, very popular mazee. Walikuwa wanazanga soups, heads, you know, like they had this boiled and then
so you can imagine that, of course, that's not an acceptable story at home. Huyu mwalimu anasema, you know, and your dad, guys are grinding for you to become like an ambassador. And now you're talking about music. So as a kid, I learned to play the system. I was like, okay, kwetu, the thing that my parents honor the most is education. So I'm going to be a number 1.
Yeah.
Yes. Then number 2, they like this church thing. I don't mind this church thing. I enjoy. I can go argue with the priest, play basketball. Cool. I was a very spirited kid.
Yeah.
And our priest was quite cool. He was like, he quite indulged it.
Yeah.
And then, so I understood that if I played those 2 things, if I bring home good grades, and actually church is kind of fun when you're a kid if what you're interested in is like music, drama, arts, because there's a lot of youth programs.
Yeah. Church plays a very important role in the society for that.
Yeah. So then I found my ways. I was doing the thing that my parents needed. So we never needed to argue anymore about whether I'm going to be a musician or not.
So you managed to beat the system.
I beat the system.
Yeah.
So it is only after now I finished St. Mary's and I'm like, okay, I'm sure now that this is the career path that I want to take.
Yeah, St. Mary's.
Yes, after Moi Girls, I went to St. Mary's for IB. I did 2 years of IB.
Saints walikuwa na demolish self-esteem yetu mazee kwa funky mazee. First of all ni ma light skin, wako na dough, wamedrive, wanajua kucheza rugby. Yani ukipata tu na watu kao funky tu, unalala tu kwa nyasi. Wasichana wa State House girls hata waste time na wewe. Tuko na hizo jokes zako.
St. Mary's was like, that was my first experience of culture shock.
Oh, wow.
St. Mary's was my first experience of culture shock. Now that was a part of I didn't know, and I didn't know that I didn't know. Kwa kuna ile gari una drive kukam shule, hiyo ni gari yako.
Bro,
I'm like, as in, my classmate, you have a car.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this? What
like
is
hizo ni story unasoma kwa Insiders a 50 Cent na Fat Joe, you know? Like St. Mary's hata ukipita tu hiyo barabara ya Love You ilikuwa inafanya una feel unajiwaza about your life, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's after St. Mary's where I was now sure that I wanted to do music. And so as I've said, I have developed the talent over many years.
Yeah.
But I also have developed a taste. So around this time, as I'm going into university, the people that I'm listening to, the Fugees, Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu, Common,
hata usikizi reggae man.
Missy Elliott. Walai hata reggae imekuja baadaye.
Yeah.
Reggae imekuja baadaye. Because at the point, ile teenage years where I would have picked up reggae if we were living in Gedembe. Sasa tulikuwa Matasia.
Oh, yeah.
Na Matasia tulikuwa na tuliingia hard knock life ingine.
Where's Matasia?
Matasia is between Ngong and Kiserian.
Oh.
Upige Ngong Road paka Ngong Road iishe. Ngong Road wisha Ngong Town.
Yeah, where the roads like now one goes up, the other one goes Kiserian.
Sasa shika ya Kiserian. Halfway in between kuna town kanaitwa Matasia.
My goodness. Hata hiyo lami ilitengenezwa juzi man.
Thank you. Ukishuka kwa barabara, piga 20 minutes walk to the house.
Maza unafika kwa nyumba tu ukikohoa yani. Niko umetoka uozo, you know.
And then the house, it's like my parents are just like tumejenga. What that means is like the structure of the house went up, So like stones, you know when you're building, they call it the shell.
Yep.
So the house goes up.
Yeah.
And now you can roof it. But you have no windows, no doors, aujeka plaster, no floor, no fittings, toilets, sinks. When the structure went up, your shell,
that's enough.
Akaeka roof. Hapa kuna windows, wakapigilia na mbao.
Yo.
Tunahama.
Mnaingia.
So mimi nilitoka tu Moi Girls nikapata tu naishi wapi? Matasia. Venye una form 1. Nilitoka Kidembe. Ukirudi half term mko Matasia. But my parents were so proud. They're like, this one is ours. We built it. That you don't worry. Choo iko ndani. Sikuna choo nje.
Yeah, si imetosha.
Sikuna latrine nje.
We know our space.
Huku ni kwetu.
Yeah.
So that was my high school.
That was
very
your high school.
Humbling now. And in my neighborhood, there was now these kids who are going to like Saints Jew, what people who have
in Matasia. Yeah.
So Matasia is we call it peri-urban, but me does think it's peri-rural.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of places where people like, you know, who wanted to like build their homes and etc. moved.
That's where a lot of guys
So that
started.
was also another character development. Because kwenu hamna hata dirisha.
Na ndio huyu hapa una hang out.
Mna hang out na watu wanakuanga na gari wana drive. So it was character development. But anyway, so when I now knew that I wanted to do music, I was very clear about the kind of music I wanted to do. Because I felt that my idols had already taught me what is cool. And then the process of trying to do music in Kenya was very frustrating. At that time, Still is.
Yeah.
But at that time, there was another thing that was happening, which is now we had finally found our own sound, Kapuka.
The Ogopa.
Exactly.
Ogopa DJs.
Ogopa 1. But even before Ogopa 1 was Ted Josiah, right?
With
Gidi
Kalamashaka.
Maji, Kalamashaka,
Yeah.
Masi Myra.
Yeah.
So we had started to establish our own urban sound, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
So at the point I get into the industry, I'm getting into the industry because I admire all these people. Necessary Noise.
Why read the Love Child?
So now Necessary Noise, at that time, it was still just Necessary Noise, right?
Yeah.
They were the closest I had come to an African Fugees. Of course, they were not copying anybody. They were just so fresh and original. Nazizi is still like,
Nas, man.
Come on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're growing up listening to this stuff on the radio, and you want to be part of that.
Yeah.
And you want to contribute something to that.
Yeah.
But when I came in to make the music, the people that I talked to, everybody just felt like, you're too alternative.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm like, we can ongeza a layer.
Mm-hmm.
So in retrospect, and maybe as a piece of advice to anybody on the Cyco podcast now is, when you want something, just go ask the person who knows how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because had I started with Ted Josiah, I would have never ended up in conversations with people who are telling me, you're not Kenyan enough.
Weka boom twaf.
Yes, you need to make a song like Manyake. I wouldn't have ended up in those useless conversations.
Yeah.
So, and also, as life turns out, after I talked to all those people, the very last person we could ever talk to was Ted Josiah, but we thought that Ted Josiah was too above. It's like Quincy Jones, like Jatosha Mboga.
Yet all that process, what it expected from you is for you to make that step of faith.
And he listened to us, he auditioned us. He's the only producer who was like, yes.
Yeah.
So I used to sing with my friend Jerry. He's the only one who was like, yes, you guys are really dope. Actually, do you know these girls called Lenubian? We're like, no.
Yeah.
Do you know these girls called Floetry? No. He's like, good. So the first thing I'm going to do is for 1 year, I'm just going to develop your ear. You guys just need to know stuff. You need to come into a sense of yourself as artists.
Yeah. And also, for guys who are listening and they're like, why we are talking about this specific thing, and why I asked you that question is because there are people out there who also want to create their own brands in their own way. There are people who are selling shoes, the people who want to do poetry, the people who want to be musicians, the people who want to be podcasters or content creators, but they feel like maybe they look at the industry and they're like, there's no one else like me. And then automatically what that does is that it makes you feel like that won't work.
Exactly.
But what you need to realize is that it's not working because there's no one who's tried it out and tried it out well.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that I liked about your musical journey. And I'm sure it must have been stressful trying to create a unique brand in an industry where everyone else is just doing their usual.
So now let me also say this. I was never trying to make a brand. Now that's the next gem, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
That I just want to spend a few minutes on this.
Yeah. Tell us.
Step 1, if you're listening to this podcast and you're an artist of any nature.
Yeah.
Your job is to be an artist. Your job is not to be a brand. It will become. Sanaa yako ndio itafanya hiyo kitu unafanya iwe brand. It is your sanaa that will cause a distinction. Brand is distinct. Brand is distinction. When you distinguish.
That's your brand.
So you can't make a brand. You become a brand as a result of doing.
But Muthoni, I'm sorry. Let me ask you these questions from say when you understand a lot about. Let's say from I don't know which word to use, but that you people who do not have a deep understanding of brands. So the reason why a lot of people like conforming is that you tend to think that that's the blueprint of everything. That's one. Then number 2, the gatekeepers are normally very loud in letting you know that whatever you're doing is wrong or you're doing it in a confused kind of manner. However, what you're saying is so true that if you believe in whatever you do and you continue doing it and perfecting it and improving it, you automatically create a brand for yourself. You automatically become Beyonce when you put in the hours into the craft. Yeah.
So you don't have to engineer Beyonce. You have to work on the craft.
Yeah.
The craft is what gets you to the next level. And I feel like this is something that I'm so passionate about, specifically to artists. We're going to talk about other people who you don't identify as an artist.
Yeah.
First, I want to start with the person who identifies as an artist.
Yeah.
Your first, primary, and only thing that you have to do in life is become a really, 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 really good artist.
Period.
That's it. And there is no shortcut. That thing called 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
The 10,000 hours you have to put into developing your craft for you to achieve mastery. There is no shortcut. You're just going to sing and sing and sing and sing until you develop your ear.
Yeah.
So now you can hear notes.
Yeah.
So you stop singing off key.
So natural for you.
You're just going to dance and dance and dance so that you are able to interpret your body. Then you will sing and dance and put those things together.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Then you're just going to write and write and write songs until you become a good storyteller, until your songs become helpful for you and for others. There is no shortcut to artistry.
Yeah.
And it frustrates me to death when I see artists trying to spend all this time becoming other things except artists. So you're here trying to become a brand. You're trying to become a content creator. So now let's talk about this second part. And this is so serious for artists.
Yeah.
Okay. And no slight to any content creator.
Yeah.
Content creation is a new version of TV. We were talking about it earlier. Yeah. This is the new TV.
Yeah.
So when we were growing up, TV was made by the people of TV.
Yeah.
Yes. Now the tools have become available for everybody. So with your phone, actually you can make TV, because TV really is a piece of packaged information, what we call content, right?
Yeah.
So when we were growing up, you had on KBC, Vioja Mahakamani, which is a comedy
Vitimbi.
show, right? Or Vitimbi. No, actually Vioja Mahakamani was social satire. Vitimbi was comedy. You also had a show on Wednesday called Professional View, right? Where some other mzaes used to come and just talk boring things.
Yeah. Then we had Dunia Wiki Hii on Saturdays.
Then you had Dunia Wiki Hii, which was a roundup. Okay.
Hamisi Juma, I think.
So hizo vitu zinaitangwa, which is now what we call content. Kipindi, a program, is what we now call content.
So hiki hapa ni kipindi. Hiki ni kipindi cha Cyco.
Hiki ni kipindi. Okay?
Yeah.
So now that is another profession.
Yeah.
That is not artistry. That is another profession with other professionals. That's why there's professional people behind the camera now, the sound people, the people who are sitting with you to think about, okay, the writing room, what is this show? What are the objectives? How do we flow the conversation? That is a whole other profession. Okay? Your profession is making art. When you make good art, you distinguish yourself. You earn a voice. Because now people are able to say, oh, that's what that person does.
Yeah.
The more distinguished that thing that you do does, the more niche you become. Yes?
Yes.
Because now it is so you, there is no other you. When in doubt, for me, and I don't know if you guys have that reference, there's an incredible rapper and producer called Missy Elliott.
Yeah.
There has never been another Missy Elliott, nor will there ever be. You can only learn from Missy Elliott. Her sound was so distinguished. Her presentation of style was so distinguished. Sanaa. It is Sanaa that allowed Missy to occupy that space. Once you occupy that space, other doors open for you.
Automatically.
Okay? So based on your personality, we are able to extend you into other things. So now you, as this distinguished person with this distinct voice, you can also produce say a TV piece of content. So you will now work with professionals who create that thing based off on who you are. Okay?
Yeah.
So that is now what you call extending the brand.
Yeah.
But you can't extend the brand until first you form the brand. But you can't form the brand until you first become the thing, the substance of the brand.
You can't become the thing not unless you put in the 10,000 hours.
And that is the work of the artist. And it's a lifelong thing. You don't retire. Miriam Makeba died on stage.
I don't know if people understand what you're saying, Muthoni. I just, because, and this is Cyco Kugas. I realized that thing a bit later in life. And this I realized after I worked on a song with Sedo. And I used to think kina Sedo, and the whole team, wanaingia to studio, wana freestyle, then it's inamixiwa mastered, unatumiwa kwa nini, ushaanza kutuma kwa 3-piece, alafu unaunda kakiki kadogo, unasema, maybe I don't know, maybe unataka kuwa lion or something, and then people talk about it, and then your song blows up for 2 weeks, and then you go down, and then you start again for 2 weeks, and then after like 5 years, no one really cares about you. You're out here trying to struggling to get them. When we worked together, I saw the professionalism of, how, first of all, he was the first producer to take me back to how is this written? It's not well written. Do we need maybe to add another co-writer? At that time, I always used to think adding a co-writer means you're not good enough. Yeah, that you're not good, and that's how it happens in our space. That you're not good. When I incorporated the writers and then we built this beautiful sound, I started realizing that some of those songs you don't even need to push them that much. People come looking for them. They literally beg you, what are you releasing?
That's what it's called, Chema, user.
Yeah. I don't think I hope people, if you're a musician, I wish
you're an artist of any kind, fashion, a design of crafts like tables or chairs, music, illustrator, whichever version of your sana, the rule is exactly the same.
Put in the time.
You don't become Steven Spielberg.
Who's that?
He's an incredible filmmaker. You don't become the Wachowski brothers, the guys who made The Matrix, for example. You don't become that because you're trying to build a brand of being a filmmaker. You can't build a brand, and I can't say this enough. Give up this false idea that you have been sold to by consumerism, that you can build a brand. A brand becomes, when the brand distinguishes, when the thing you're doing distinguishes, it attracts the people who will then form the structure around it. It attracts them.
Okay.
For you to be Serena Williams is the world's greatest athlete. Serena Williams is a brand of elite athlete. Kipchoge Keino, elite athletes. And there are very few people who play at that level called elite athlete.
Because it's like they are
elite.
The level.
This is a thing for humanity. This is a thing of marvel for humanity to learn from. Kipchoge does not become an elite athlete until he becomes an incredible runner by running. So you just run and run and run and run. And then people recognize this thing, that there's a way that you approach, there's a mental fortitude, there's a mental thing that you bring to this running that is not the same as other guys who are running for money. Okay? Then they're like, wonderful. Us guys are the sports scientists. Right? So we bring in sports science. We talk about the technique of food, the technique of the shoe. What is the shoe that you need to wear? What is the training environment?
But that's now
after you have distinguished. Okay? So this is also the way it happened, say with and just to finish the story, I recommend, even if you're going to torrent, every Kenyan needs to watch the story of 159. How Kipchoge Keino is the only person who has ever run a marathon under 2 hours.
I need to watch it.
Not the only person ever. Since humanity competition began, that guy is an elite. Those people, they're called, there's a very small category of athletes who are called elite athletes.
Okay.
Yeah? So now Kipchoge is a brand. Right? Now Kipchoge can make a shoe with Nike, which he is. Right? Now Kipchoge can do speaking engagements because there's something he knows about that thing that only he knows. So Kipchoge is extending his brand. He can now do speaking engagements. He can now sell a shoe. He can now be in a movie. The things become after you have first become. And that one for me is incredibly important for artists, and especially in this environment, because we're working in an environment that is always telling you content.
I totally agree with what you're saying. But let's now look at the challenges to that. Because the title of this video today will be Growing Brands and Thanksgiving. So after this, we're going to go to Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
And let me go by what you've said. One of the disadvantages about taking that approach of developing or you becoming a brand is that you start observing that in the system, there are so many people who are cheating the system, and they tend to get ahead of you.
Of course.
And I remember one time you posted on the WhatsApp group. We are on the same WhatsApp group, the I Love 254 Music, where that has all the musicians in Kenya. So only drama over there. So there was one day you posted and you said that the problem with our industry is that it's become a popularity contest.
Yes.
And everyone is just trying to get that trending song, number one. And there's so many people, literally, that's all they live for.
Yes.
They have to be trending at number one and all that stuff. And it's not a bad thing. I've seen that come and go. But so how do you deal with the frustrations of not conforming to that stuff?
Because you are in your life by yourself.
But you need to make money, or businesses, you need shows.
Who are you in a marathon with? Maisha yako ni maisha yako. For one thing, your life has a purpose that is unique to you.
Yes.
You do not share the same purpose as me, even if we're both artists.
So first of all, it's identifying the purpose, the original, the
I don't
vision.
even know whether it's identifying. It's understanding, even if you reject that notion, your life is going to be nothing if you do not crack the thing that you came here to do.
So your purpose can't just be famous, that you are the most followed.
Fame is a result. Just like money, it's a result. When you do, it becomes. In Christianity, you have this phrase, seek ye first.
The kingdom of God and all these other things.
So me, I'm saying, remove the kingdom of God because, everybody has the way they understand God.
Yeah.
Take the wisdom, seek ye first, which is also first things first.
Yeah.
If you want a thing that is long-term and that is sustainable, you must understand that the gimmicks will fail. How many gimmicks will you do? It is exhausting. It is draining. Your creative energy is going to end sooner than later. Also, you're in a rat race against who? Who are you in a rat race against? This person who today seems like they're trending. I understand it because now we're in influencer life.
Yeah.
First, there's nothing like that. But there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. You have a position. You become a thing. Right? You have a position.
Yeah.
By developing this, your thing, whatever it is, whatever your thing is.
Yeah.
Now, let me not be an artist. Let me say that you really enjoy TV. You grew up enjoying TV. And now there's this opportunity to be able to create some TV, right? Which is content.
Yeah.
Amazing. Good content is usually a thing that is truly distinguishing. You have to find something that is so interesting, that is so hyper-specific to you. Yani, good content is always unique content. True or false?
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
That's where you get it
so
right.
Even if there's a million podcasts, you have to find an angle that is so specific, that is so interesting, that is so authentic, that is so original, that it allows you to distinguish on a podcast platform where there are 29 other podcasts.
Yeah.
True or false?
True.
Correct. And because the business model is going to require you to speak to sponsors, also sponsors want somebody who has an authentic voice because then you have an authentic audience.
Yeah.
And your voice doesn't have to be deep. I'm not saying that you have to be here on like some philosophy tip.
Yeah.
Maybe you do the review of the news as comedy. You just do Dunia Wiki Hii, but the 3-minute version of Dunia Wiki Hii.
Yep.
And yours is full of shade and humor because that is authentic to who you are.
It comes naturally for you.
It comes naturally for you. This is a thing that you would do for free.
Yep.
And then because it makes you feel so good, you want to share it. Yes? That is normally the second part of the creative process. First, it feels good for you. When you write a song, it first feels so good to you.
You have to listen.
Right?
You just enjoy even listening to yourself.
Exactly. When you're writing jokes, it's because first you're cracking yourself up and then you want to share that stuff to crack somebody else up.
Yeah.
That part is very pure. Right?
Yeah.
That is the part that is called authenticity. It's completely pure. You would literally do it for free. At any rate, before anybody paid you to make music, paid you to sing, were you not singing for free?
Definitely.
Because it felt so good to you.
Yeah.
And then that sharing of the gift with somebody else, seeing it, how it impacted somebody else.
Yeah.
It's like it feels good to them, it feels good to you. So now you have this, I feel good, you feel good, we feel good.
Yeah.
You even then want to share it on a bigger platform and so on and so forth. So now you want to make content.
Yeah.
So you first find the thing that is true for you, that you would do for free.
Yeah.
Then you gift it to somebody else. Then you pack it. Then now you produce it, which is what we are doing. You produce it. You get in the professionals to help you record it, film it, edit it. Then you put it out. Yes.
Yeah.
Over a period of time, another thing in the game called consistency. Yes.
Yeah.
The more you do this thing, the better you become at doing this thing. The more you distinguish, the more your audience finds you. Because even when you pay for paid ads, how many paid ads have you ever seen? You even
skip.
First you skip.
I'm
Then
even considering I want even to join the other YouTube. I don't know how much it is.
Exactly.
Mi nimechoka na hizi vitu.
And then there even some where you click. Then when you click after 2 minutes, you're like, this is not my vibe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the person who is creating. It's just you. Hiyo sio vibe yako. Sindio?
Ukweli.
So unajitoa.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which means your people will always find you.
Yeah.
Whether you use advertising,
whether you
use word
or
of
not.
mouth, your people, the people who will sit authentically with that content you're producing, they will find you because they will be like, yes, this thing really solves my problem. This thing really enhances my life. I really enjoy this thing. Correct?
Yeah.
That process of you being authentic and building an authentic audience is what is going to drive Safaricom to be like, oh, this
To
person
come.
is sitting with such an interesting audience, and
Yeah.
look at this thing that they talk about. This thing that they talk about sits
Yeah.
well with our
yeah.
brand values
Values.
as Safaricom. And
Yeah.
also, if we were to advertise this product X on
Yeah.
this person, it will make sense because it will bring value.
Yeah.
Because no sale happens unless there's a value exchange. The reason you buy data is because you derive value from using the data.
Yeah.
That's why you're Safaricom or Airtel's client.
Yeah.
If that thing did not have value, you would stop buying it. So it doesn't matter how much they advertise it to you, because haikupatii value hautainunua.
Muthoni, take us slowly. This is a lot of wisdom, and I'm loving it. I love
So
it.
there's no point in trying to build a brand.
Mm-hmm.
Build the authenticity, the thing itself, the actual thing. The
Yeah.
brand will become.
Automatically.
Automatically, the brand will become.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you are doubting, one of the most interesting things I watched during this pandemic
Yeah.
was Abel Mutua. Have we not all watched Abel Mutua just sitting in front of a camera and knocking for our stories?
Yeah.
There's a perspective, there's a humor, there's a wit, there's
Yeah. And
a
it's him.
freshness, there's a him that. So you just find yourself looking forward. It's like, oh, I missed 3 episodes.
Yep.
Yes, I can't wait for the weekend so I
Yep.
can watch all of them.
Yeah.
Right? So he has now built an authentic relationship with you because you go there to consume.
They feel
for
like they
real.
know him. I feel like I know Abel. The
Right?
first time we met, nilikuwa dhani yani,
Ni besti yako.
yeah,
Ni
because
besti
of
yako.
the connection you
That
guys
connection that you have
built
built
on the
authentically.
platform.
And because that connection is authentic and it's building, right?
Yeah.
What the sponsor is, the consumer, that corporate is then
Yeah.
seeing is like, oh, okay, we ask guys cell phones. Maybe
Yeah.
Abel can be a good person to talk to about these phones.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to Abel and they'll be like, how can we sell this phone?
Yeah.
You seem to have an interesting audience that
Yeah.
could possibly buy our phone.
Yeah.
How do you think we should go about it? So he's actually in a very powerful position because he can think about how to do it creatively, interestingly, in a way that fits who he is
Yeah.
and that would fit the audience,
Yeah.
and that will solve the problem of the sponsor, that person who's trying to sell the phone.
Yeah.
And there is no business unless you are solving somebody's problem
Problem.
and providing a service. Those two things go hand in hand.
And I see, even when you're at that level, you get to choose who you want to introduce to your audience.
Absolutely. And now you're making money,
Yeah.
which was your problem initially. I want to do this thing that I love, and I also want to make money.
Yeah.
So by doing the thing you love and becoming very good at it, the money comes to you. It must come to you. The money must come to you.
Mm-hmm.
So you're having this thing upside down. You're trying to build a brand so that you can like pay bills.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying build the thing.
The audience will come.
Build the thing. When you build the thing, because you want to share it, you will find your audience, and your audience will also find you.
Yeah.
That was true for Blankets and Wine.
Oh. Yeah.
So we had a concert called Blankets and Wine.
Yeah.
Okay? Nobody gave a damn about the artists who were performing on Blankets and Wine because we were not Kapuka artists.
Yeah.
Okay? So we couldn't be on the radio, and we couldn't be given gigs that people were doing when Akina Red Sun and them were having gigs you couldn't find.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, if all of us misfits create something, you have 50 people, me I have 100 people, you have 200 people. If we bring our audiences together, we can exchange these audiences, and me, I'm willing to develop the professional platform.
Yeah.
Because I was doing it anyway. I was already doing a gig in West for like a year and a half. I already knew how to produce a show.
And this now also falls into the hours that you now had put
Exactly.
into your events.
So I already knew every element of running the gig because I had been running a gig. I have carried equipment upstairs.
Yeah.
I have set up.
Yeah.
I have sat down. I have had to negotiate. I've had to think about marketing. I've had to run a door, run a bar. I did everything. So by the time we were saying, now this gig is no longer working, now we need to make a new gig, I already had enough experience to say, I'm not afraid of doing the gig. The format of the gig is what is changing.
Yeah.
Right? So we wrote a list of everything we were doing, then we just did the opposite. Because when you're in crisis, just do different.
Yeah.
Actually, as a life rule, if you feel stuck, just do the opposite of whatever you normally do. Whatever you're normally doing, just do the opposite. Do the opposite.
Okay.
Just do the opposite.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, you'll find yourself still stuck.
Still stuck in the same.
Best case scenario is...
It might work.
So just do it.
Because being stuck necessarily and staying at the same spot is not really solving.
That's actually madness. Doing the same thing over and over and anticipating different results.
You know, another beautiful thing I'm seeing in this story is that all these other events died down. Blankets and Wine still remained.
And we will be here 100 years from now.
And that's the biggest challenge about sometimes conforming to, let me just put it, mainstream, is that, mainstream loves it when they have somebody they can toy with around, and then after a while they just throw you outside, they get other people, and now you'll hear musicians even singing about the industry used me, you see, for example, like now this story for Omosh. Every media house is always jumping on that story. If he does this, everyone is just jumping on it because they will milk it until they find something else to jump on, and then they will milk that story until and that's like the reverse. So a lot of people try to become that person to be milked for that season. The disadvantage with that is that after a while you die down and people get so bored so quickly. That's another thing. But if you go the direction that you're
people
talking
including
about,
yourself,
you will be bored.
You are one of those
You'll
people.
be tired. You can't be doing the same thing. Yeah, but if you go the other direction for, first of all, realizing the purpose, which you said, what's the whole purpose? The whole point of living is realizing your purpose. But
yes.
That's actually the kingdom of God. If people never understand, that's.
And also, kama wewe ni mwana sanaa, kama wewe ni msanii, naelewa?
Yeah.
That's already your purpose. Sanaa.
Yeah.
Period. Sanaa.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to convince people that it's as simple as that. That's it.
Yeah.
Just do that and do it well. Everything else will come. Right? When we started Blankets and Wine, we had 120 people. That was our first gig. All my friends, bring a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Because also people don't know nobody knows who the names of these artists on the lineup, because these are not the big names.
Yep.
So the media was not really interested in telling the story.
The media is never interested with some of these beautiful things.
Number
when they're starting.
You couldn't even get somebody to come and sell food. Because they're like, Ati, you guys are where? Ridgeways? Where in Ridgeways? Who is performing? Ati, what is this thing?
Yeah.
So we literally could not get a food vendor.
Yeah.
Or an alcohol vendor. We're like, well, anyway, we've told people to bring their own food and drink, so maybe it's okay. All right?
Yeah.
So people came. When people came, they're like, but this thing is nice. This environment is nice. Oh. This music, I didn't even know that I wanted live music, because even you don't know what you want.
That's human beings.
That is being human.
Yeah.
Okay? So this is also another, sorry to allow me to segue back to artists. This thing of artists that you're creating, ati what's the vibe? Ati what does the audience want? That is the highest form of madness. You're putting yourself in a mental asylum.
The audience never knows also what they want.
The audience never knows what they want.
Yeah.
Think about the artists that you adore the most. Just think about them in your head. All you know is that you like them.
Yeah.
Whatever they're going to give you is what you're going to take.
Yep.
Then maybe sometimes they give you something, you're like, ata hii sikali kama ile ingine.
Yeah.
But you're complaining when you're inside the house of the artist. You don't stop being a fan of the artist because you don't like one song.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you stop being a fan of Arsenal because they have been losing for 29 years in a row now?
Sensitive to Arsenal fans. Yeah.
But you see what I mean?
Yeah, I understand you.
So as an artist, it is madness.
Yeah.
You are putting yourself in a mental asylum. Ati trend ile wase wanafanya ati sasa ni nini? Ati Esai Bahati amefanya nini? Okay,
oh my God.
Calligraph Jones amefanya nini? Nafanya hivi.
Yeah.
You are mad. You are being a mad person.
And
I'm saying it with
lifeline.
a lot of love.
Yeah.
Because what you are meant to create in this world, the things that are written for you, you are now missing out on all of those things, chasing the wind. You're chasing the wind. So me, because I knew the music I wanted to make and now people weren't giving me the space to make it, I made it anyway. Then I'm like, cool. I can't be played on the radio, but what has stopped me from being played directly in front of an audience? That's how I ended up making live music. Because I don't need a radio to sing for you my song. I just need you to be in the room.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
So you've come to the room, I've sung for you my song, you like it. I didn't need to advertise to that fan again.
Yeah.
You're fan, next time you're a little fan mwingine.
Yep.
Unanielewa? So we've grown and grown the thing. Now the thing has even stopped working. Now we need another formula.
Yeah.
This is how we ended up with creating Blankets and Wine. 120 people bring. The next one becomes 106 people. The next one becomes 200 people. 280. 345.
Yeah.
Iliende kigrow slow and sure, right?
Yeah.
By the time the media found us, they found a community of people who were liking this thing.
Yeah.
You don't know who the artist is. Too bad for you. Come to the next Blankets and Wine, you'll discover another artist like that, right?
Yeah.
So I solved a problem of discovery for the artist and for the audience, because people want something different, but they don't know what
that is.
So me, I know I can bring different every month. I can program for you something different every month.
Yeah.
Okay? Then I'm solving a problem for the artist who needs to be able to speak directly to their audience. So the artists understand the thing I'm doing and they support it. They're the first stakeholder.
Yeah.
Which means it's a big trust. Now I have to make sure I fulfill the promise to the artist.
Yeah.
And I fulfill the promise to the audience. Solve a problem.
Yep.
I'm solving the artist problem of income, and I'm solving a discoverability problem for the audience. Okay?
So they'll always come.
So you're solving a problem and you're providing a service. My life is in service to these artists who I'm putting on, and this city that I'm saying there is more to us than meets the eye. At the point at which most of you guys have known about Blankets and Wine, okay, the thing has been grown by its authentic audience until now it's become even bigger than what I thought. Like, okay, not yet, but it's way big, right? We're in Uganda, we're in Rwanda.
Yep.
The Ugandan partner found me. I went to Uganda, I scouted. I thought that maybe the people who I thought would be were not the ones.
Yeah.
They were just jokers because they're like, hey, you know this thing? Now they're trying to transform.
Let me tell you something about Kampala.
They're trying to transform the thing that they've seen.
Yeah.
It's so big. You have all these people. So now they're trying to create a thing. And me, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It has to be somebody who wants to grow this thing from zero, because Blankets and Wine is meant to serve artists. Do we have enough artists in Uganda who this platform would be in service to?
Yeah.
If the answer is yes, then we have a game. If you're going to do this thing, you have to be willing to build this thing from scratch. You're going to have the benefit of learning from Kenya, but you're going to build this thing from scratch, because it is, you do it, people feel they like it, next time they bring other people. Even if you put it on the media, you will not be able to explain it on the media because you're not going to have big names.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
So forget that one at media shortcuts.
Yeah, a lot of people think the media will give them a shortcut. So they come up with something.
Came much later.
They come up with something similar to maybe what you are creating, and
then
because
like,
they have.
Let's just bring names. Yeah. Somebody like 2 weeks ago was like, yeah, do you think we can like get Liquid Deep up? Like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
You're crazy. First, we're in a pandemic. What are you doing trying to arrange a concert? Stop it.
Yeah.
Number 2, that's not the way the thing works. Right?
Yeah.
So even when we see people trying to imitate us, I actually feel there's a part of me that feels deeply sad for you, because you're on my path.
You don't understand. You don't have your own vision.
You've ignored your
thing.
whole vision, your life purpose.
Yeah, to copy me.
And you don't know the back end of the way this thing works. Nimelala njaa siku ngapi, mkiniitaga celeb. You don't know that part.
Yeah.
And because you don't have the vision that I do, right? So again, because I couldn't find a lot of space here, after we made the first album, The Human Condition, my next albums have been made abroad. It's not because I was trying to be mini Barbie na jaribu kutafuta. It's because
imeattract.
Wala watu imeattract. Yeah, ni ule mse anasema, hiyo stuff una make ninaenjoy, nataka kumake hiyo stuff na wewe. So being in those spaces, being in Switzerland, being in France, I've been in festivals that have been here for 50 years, 60 years. So I have an insight, an inner working by being in those spaces, by talking to those professionals.
Yeah.
Seeing a professional system working, which has then even taught me, beyond the festivals, I also need to build the professional capacity in the industry.
Yeah.
Hence, Perform Music Incubator. You see, I'm on my journey.
Yeah.
That is very specific to me.
To you, to Muthoni.
Right? So even if you copy me, you can only copy me and sustain yourself for a very short time, because you do not have the fundamentals of my journey.
Yeah.
Right? So I really just wanted to say that deeply, that it becomes, and you must be faithful to your journey. And if you're faithful to your journey, there's so much gold, diamonds, silver, accolades.
Pick along the way.
Hizo vitu zote unafikiria zitakuja, maisha yako itakuwa hivyo, but haitakuwa hivyo sasa ile unajaribu kurun race ya mtu mwingine.
Definitely. That's so powerful, Muthoni. Thank you so much for sharing that.
And you have to have the patience.
That's the other part that I wanted us to talk about. That's the flip side of
the coin.
Why is it that first of all, just to also add something smaller on what you said, I think it's the same thing as with the audience that you have. Try your best to give them the maximum value. They'll be so excited. They'll bring more people and focus on giving them maximum value. And just the same thing you're saying, like for the artists, they were getting the money. For the audience, they were getting the discovery. For the artists, they were also now doing this live whole gig that was not really popular on this other side of DJing. I want us now to address, why is it that a lot of people don't follow this rule or this policy or this principle? Why do you think so?
For one thing, you're chasing the wind. It's not true. It's not true to who you are. That's not the thing that you would do for free.
It's not your vision.
Autalala njaa because ya hiyo kitu unafanya. Everybody deserves to listen to the podcast that Oprah Winfrey did with Tyler Perry. Msikie Tyler Perry, the things that he went through by the time he was able to produce Medea. Kama uwezi lala njaa because ya hiyo kitu that you have such conviction, you have such belief in the thing that you're doing. Bro, utapata ile kitu yako.
Yep.
And tell yourself the truth so that you can save yourself time.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that you have on this earth. Time. And from the day you were born, it started counting down.
Yep.
And you don't know when the timing ends.
Yeah, when the glass hour.
So the thing that you can do with time, the only thing you can do with time is utilize.
Yeah.
The only thing you can do with time is utilize. So you have no business being on Cyco podcast journey because unaona hii kitu ya podcasting sasa manzi na work na mabesti zako anakuambia wewe ni mse interesting manzi na
sini kukaa tu na kuongea na wasee kwani wewe kwa unaongea words ngapi kwa siku moja hiki kitu tunaweza do
na hata si Abel anashindanga tu hapa
si anachapanga tu story tunaweza pia si tunaweza waambia story yeah
okay so umechukua journey ya mtu mwingine umejichota
yep
that has nothing to do with you umejichota
yeah
umeenda kupick beef na Calligraph Jones umeenda kupick beef because hiyo ndio njia ya kuwa rapa ujulikane ujulikane haraka usell upate is my brand endorsements unaufala when fala kamera kwa wapi nikuangalia when fala utomia manze una waste life hours zako na ujue umepewa ngapi but la kufikiria men ni ile kitu napendaga na maybe ile kitu napendaga literally ni kupika just do that pika tu food ingine tamu it was wewe kwanza utapena hiyo food for free wase wakule they're like what una making food kai tunaweza buy true or false fan ndio nakulizanga kama naweza buy hiyo kitu yako where can I buy your ticket where can I buy your CD where can I watch your live
even ask where can they send money
where can you send
I recently also discovered DJ Grouch. I'm so late to the party, I'm sorry guys, and I remember when I went to his comments some guys were like please give us a pay bill, we need to pay because they feel like
the value wame derive value wame enjoy, they want to actually add to your journey now you're your fan they want to add to your journey
and those are the people you need to target, people who will also add to your si kila mtu it's not a popularity contest
and that's the thing usikwe wa kila mtu actually kuna value mingi sana kutokuwa wa kila mtu ukiwa so I think ile kitu nimelan kwa maisha interestingly I lived with some people last topic mimi according to me Oprah Winfrey is one of the biggest media names in the world sindio I lived with a lady from Italy nilikuwa namwonyesha Oprah magazine we were talking about Oprah I was saying, Oprah went to this shop in Switzerland and they didn't even know who she is. They thought she was trying to steal a bag. I was so outraged. This lady looked at me and she's like, who is Oprah? So first I thought she was joking. Then I'm like, what do you mean? You don't know who Oprah Winfrey? She's like, Miss Drew Nani. Yes. She's the one who reminded me that just because Oprah Winfrey has like 2 billion people who know her, 5 billion
there's
people
another
don't know her.
Group that don't
5
know her.
billion. The majority of the world does not know who she is.
Yeah, she's so influential.
Artist. Pick your biggest artist, Beyonce.
Yeah.
Hundreds of millions, let's even say 1 billion people in this world know Beyonce. 7-point-something billion people make the whole world.
I remember
6 billion people don't know Beyonce.
There was even a clip.
She's still a niche artist.
Yeah, there was a clip of her with some artist. I think it's Malawi or there was one of the southern countries. And one of the dancers on camera, akamuliza, hi, my name is Nidid. And who are you? And she was not even offended.
Come to the video shoot to choreograph with her.
And she was not even offended. She was like, oh, I'm Beyonce.
So
I'm
that thing should teach you. And we talk about this with Blinky Bill. You're always new to somebody.
Definitely.
Kuna mtu akujui na kutambui na hajawai kukusikia
na hata ana ubaya na wewe
na hata ana shughuli.
So
this idea that you're always trying to be popular, you should actually understand hiyo ni ugonjwa. You
need to see a psychologist, a therapist.
Ugonjwa tumeuziwa na hii media life. Na hii social media life. Atukwe popular.
Lazima kuna 100k followers. Mimi kwanza nikisikia client ananiambia mambo ya followers. nakwanga like huyu I don't think tutapelekana mbali sana.
Unless you have patience for this Cyco podcast is not going to become anything unless you have the patience and the love for it. So pia kama unafuata hype hii kitu itaisha tu.
Oh man, me I love talking to guys. I love sharing insights. I love seeing people grow.
And because of that, you're going to spend hours thinking about how do I make it better? How do I
It becomes emotional even for you. So it can even make you stressed. Sometimes you can be depressed. Like sometimes because it's not a thing you just do. So it affects you in so many ways, you know. When you miss an episode, you feel like you've failed all of it, you know.
Yes.
Man, thank you so much, Muthoni.
To talk about gratitude.
Yes, I want you to tell me 5 things that you are thankful.
I'm thankful for my new single, Give Thanks.
Give Thanks.
It's the first song we wrote of the new album that we're delivering. We're delivering you guys a new album this quarter. Usiwaambie siku.
Okay.
Hiyo ni secret yangu, but inakuja, I promise you, before the end of the year. Kitu ilikuwa ngumu sana. I think I may have mentioned this. We finished this album at the beginning of 2020. We wrote the album for one whole year, 2019 into 2020.
Yeah.
And then we were ready for takeoff. Alafu corona ikakuja ikatuambia
nyinyi kina nani nyinyi? What do you know about planning and scheduling?
Nilikwambia hiyo kitu ilinieka down because I was like, man, na si ati kitu ati mnaweza literally. The shutdown happened in Switzerland the week that the album went into mix engineering, into master engineering. So the engineer cannot engineer the project. So just sit down.
Yeah.
The label is in France. The whole of France is in a disaster.
Yep.
So you're so invested in your plans, you don't recognize that there's actually a master plan.
You become disappointed.
Because you're not operating at the level of the master plan. And you have already decided that you're an elite artist. Elite. Right? Me, I want to be a Kipchoge of my time. A Serena of my time. That's my choice in life. But sasa nina argue hapa na life because nimejam. Because nilikuwa nafaa kutoa album kabla tuende tour. Na sasa kuna album na kuna tour. So nimeketi chini hiyo mwaka. Nimesondekeka. Kwa roho yangu. So finally to be able to be like, oh, now the season has come where the album can be released. So the first single is out. It's called Give Thanks. Actually the second single. Because tulikuwa tumetoa single ya kwanza in March kabla lockdown ianze. Power.
Power. Yeah, Power. I know Power.
The most beautiful video na kama hujawahi watch Power. Ebu ende say kwa YouTube.
I'm gonna put a link to her channel and then you can check out her music. It's amazing.
Videos and amazing music.
You really put thought to it. You and Blinky, you guys love it.
So you can imagine you've released a single in March and now there's now no album. So I was just there dying in my house.
Feeling depressed.
Just being like, guy, sasa nimeisha. So to be able to be like more than a year and a half later, is now when we're releasing the second single of the album called Give Thanks. It's even why we chose that song. It was meant to be another song that we've done with Sauti Sol, but I know the singles, you're on your next.
There's a jam with Sauti Sol.
You're on your next.
Can't wait for that.
But we even had to move it because I felt like gratitude. And I don't know if I told you this, but this song called Give Thanks, it's the first song we wrote when we entered residency to make the album.
Before or after?
In 2019. When the producers came to Kenya, because they came here and we spent 4 weeks in residency. That means we secluded ourselves and we were just making music day and night. Our friends came to write music with us, other producers, other singers. The first song we wrote on the project it was Give Thanks. And I remember feeling that you have to begin at gratitude. See it because nimeambiwa as a concept, because deep in my soul, I know that gratitude magnetizes everything.
Definitely.
It changes the attitude, it changes the room. And I was
also
so
how
grateful.
You see life.
Correct. So I'm grateful for Give Thanks. And I'm grateful that the album is finally coming. So those are 2 things.
Those are 2 things. I want 3.
The third thing is I'm grateful to be on this podcast. I'm grateful to have an opportunity to talk with you. We really connected last year. And I've been watching you, and I told you I've been watching and understanding because sinanga haraka na vitu mingi.
Time yake, and you see now, in fact, this podcast is long because it has so much depth. We don't even know how much.
Timing.
Thank you.
So it's been beautiful to watch, and I really wanted to see what you're about. And I feel grateful that people like you exist.
Thank you.
And I think that the thing that you're doing is worthwhile. So build it. And under no circumstances, do not buy anything that you see in the world. If you grew up Christian, you know this thing about they say be in the world. You are in the world, but you are not of the world.
Yeah.
So wacha kujilinganisha na dunia.
Yeah.
You ask to see things that your eyes have not yet seen, your ears have not yet heard. It is given to you.
I've never looked at it that way. I've always looked at that concept from a very, it's like from a very Christianese point. But I feel like also what it was
wisdom of the world.
Yeah, what it was trying to tell you is that don't necessarily just follow everything. Be you. Just be you, man. Wow. So you're also a pastor Muthoni now, eh?
Not at all.
Okay.
But I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for this space, and I'm grateful that you've allowed me to speak.
Yeah.
Number 4, I'm grateful for my journey.
Yeah.
Nimejikubali, ninajipenda.
Yeah.
As in, manze,
it's a good place.
Mim dope.
Yeah, it's a very good place to be at.
Enjoy tu maisha yangu.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for that because it wasn't always like that. I remember that kid who was like caught between the worlds, who didn't quite have enough self-confidence, who was hoping that the world can give them an answer. So to have evolved from that person to a person who is so confident and comfortable in my own skin, I feel very grateful for my life.
Yeah.
And the final one is I feel grateful for my team.
Yeah.
I work with teams.
Yeah.
I work with the festivals team at the Perform Music Incubator, where we are doing the most magical things. Please check out Perform Music Incubator.
Yeah.
Tuna change
game. Where can guys check it out?
Performmusicincubator.com.
Performmusicincubator.com. We're going to put a graphic right there. It's very simple. All you have to do is use a computer to click on that
Tuna change game.
link. Yeah.
Tuna change game.
Yeah.
So there's a very competent team of an all-women team. The festival is also run by an all-women team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So me, I like working with all-girl teams because I just feel like kuna energy tuna enjoy kama madame.
Yeah.
And also we've been such an underrepresented demographic in the professional music scene.
Yeah.
So I want to build an army of professional women in music.
Congratulations.
And I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for that team. I'm grateful for my music team, to have a team in France, in Switzerland, in Kenya.
Yeah.
People who are working to help you become the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
I really take that deeply. I feel like you must know that if you didn't have the team behind the camera.
Oh, definitely.
It would just be dreams. And you also remember the time when you were the whole team.
It was chaos.
Right?
The sound was chaos. Mawe zilikuwa zinarushwa kwa hii podcast from the premiere to the end.
And now for you to have grown and evolved that you can have a team, you know. So just, I know you know the value of having people.
I love it.
So you can imagine.
You can't do it alone.
You can't
In fact,
do it
that's
alone.
like a standard.
But at the beginning, you must do it alone. That's also the part of the journey.
Yeah.
You first must do it alone because it is because you know what it means to record, to edit, to shoot. That now you have value for the people that you work with. And that's why you won't argue about like, I need to pay people. You know exactly what you're paying for.
Yeah.
So because you first did it,
Yeah.
and then now you know how to, and that's also how you're able to lead.
You respect the value.
Yes, and also you're able to lead because now you can be able to say to your editor, there's this thing that I'm looking for and I was thinking about it this way because you've ever done it or ever failed, especially.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for my team. I'm grateful for my army and they make me a better person.
Yeah.
Because leadership isn't about being the boss. It's really about helping people become their best version.
Yeah.
Which means that people have to let you become the best version of yourself as well.
So that you can transfer that to them.
So I'm very grateful for my team.
Wow, Muthoni, thank you so much for just taking time to come through to the podcast. We appreciate you. And Yani, we are just so humbled and thank you so much for all these insights. I'm going to be sharing all those links to the music as well as to the Perform Music Incubator.
Subscribe, man.
Yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Unakuja
tu nakula content ya mtu.
Alafu una bounce, man. It won't cost you much, man. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, guys, for watching. Let us know the 5 things that you are grateful for. I also want to know what you've taken out from this conversation. It's been very, very heavy, but this is something that I have also applied in my life, and it's been working. I can't wait to see it working even more. Asante sana, subscribe. God bless you. Share this video with your friend. Have a blessed week ahead.